everybody, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be like a Grinchy mix up of a video. I was going to read out how The Grinch Stole Christmas by Dr. Seuss, but like make it like fast forward just because I thought that might be quite fun. I don't know. I might even take that out. I don't know. I don't know if it's legal. Whatever. And then I'm going to give a little review of the work, and then I'm going to talk about the adaptations that I've seen and then tier rank them. So yeah, I was originally gonna wear my I have this Grinch pajama top, merry whatever, but I am so cold and I thought this is sort of like slightly, I do not know, it's slightly Grinchy. So yeah, let's get ready for the book. I love this story. I didn't read the book until since I was in primary school, years ago, probably at least 15 years maybe. But I do know the story, of course I know the story, but I'm so excited. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
Every Who down in Whoville liked Christmas a lot, but the Grinch, who lived just north of Whoville, did not. The Grinch hated Christmas the whole Christmas season. Now please don't ask why, no one quite knows the reason. It could be his head wasn't screwed on just right, it could be perhaps his shoes were too tight, but I think the most likely reason of all may have been that his heart was 2 sizes too small. But whatever the reason, his heart or his shoes, he stood there on Christmas Eve hating the Whos, staring down from his cave with a sour, grinchy frown at the warm light of the windows below in their town, for he knew every Who down Whoville beneath was busy now hanging a mistletoe wreath. And they're hanging their stockings, he snarled with a sneer. Tomorrow is Christmas, it's practically here. Then he growled with his Grinch fingers nervously drumming. I must find some way to stop Christmas from coming. For tomorrow, he knew, all the Who girls and boys would wake bright and early, they'd rush for their toys. And then, the noise, noise. That's one thing he hated, the noise, noise. Then the Who's young and old would sit down to a feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast, and they'd feast. They would feast on Who pudding and rare Who roast beast, which was something that Grinch couldn't stand in the least. And then they do something he liked least of all. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, would stand close together with Christmas bells ringing. They'd stand hand in hand and the Whos would start singing. And they'd sing and they'd sing and they'd sing. And the more the Grinch thought of this Who Christmas sing, the more the Grinch thought, I must stop this whole thing. Why, for 53 years I've put up with it now. I must stop this Christmas from coming. But how? And then he got an idea. An awful idea. The Grinch got a wonderful, awful idea. I know just what to do, the Grinch laughed in his throat, and he made a quick Santa Claus hat and a coat, and he chuckled and chucked with a great Grinchy trick. With his coat and his hat, I just look like St. Nick. All I need is a reindeer, the Grinch looked around, but since reindeers were scarce, there was none to be found. Did that stop old Grinch? No, the Grinch simply said, if I can't find a reindeer, I'll make one instead. So he called his dog Max, and he took some red thread and he tied a big horn on the top of his head. Then he loaded some bags and some old empty sacks on a ramshackle sleigh and he hitched up old Max. And then the Grinch said, giddy up, and the sleigh started ground towards the home where the Whos lay a snooze in their town. All their windows were dark, quiet snow-filled the air, and the Whos were all dreaming dreams without care. When he came to the first little house on the square, this is stop number 1, the old Grinchy Claus hissed, and he climbed to the roof, empty bags in his fist. Then he slid down the chimney, a rather tight pitch, but if Santa could do it, then so could the Grinch. He got stuck only once, for a moment or two, then he stuck his head out of the fireplace flue. When the little Who stockings all hung in a row, these stockings, he grinned, are the first things to go. Then he slithered and slunk with a smile most unpleasant around the whole room, and he took every present. Pop guns and bicycles, roller skates, drums, checkerboards, tricycles, popcorn and plums, and he stuffed them in bags, and the Grinch very nimbly stuffed all the bags one by one up the chimney. Then he slunk to the icebox. He took out the Who's feast. He took out the Who pudding. He took out the roast beef. He cleared out the icebox as quick as a flash. Why, that Grinch even took the last can of Who hash. Then he stuffed all the food up the chimney with glee. And now, grinned the Grinch, I will stuff up the tree. And the Grinch grabbed the tree and he started to shove when he heard a small sound like a coo of a dove. He turned around fast and saw a little Who, Cindy Lou Who, who was no more than 2. The Grinch had been caught by this tiny Who daughter who got out of bed for a cup of cold water. She stared at the Grinch and said, Santa Claus, why? Why are you taking our Christmas tree? Why? But you know, the old Grinch was so smart and so slick. He thought up a lie and he thought it up quick. My sweet little tots, the fake Santa Claus lied. There's a light on this tree that won't light on one side. So I'm taking it home to my workshop, my dear. I'll fix it up there and I'll bring it back here. And his fib fooled the child. Then he patted her head and he got her a drink and sent her to bed. And when Cindy Lou Who went to bed with her cup, he went to the chimney and stuffed the tree up. Then the last thing he took was their log for the fire. Then he went up the chimney himself, the old liar. On their walls he left nothing but hooks and some wire. And the one speck of food that he left in the house was a crumb that was even too small for a mouse. Then he did the same thing to the other Who's houses, leaving crumbs much too small for the other Who's mouses. It was 15:15 dawn, or the Who was still abed, or the Who was still a snooze, when he packed up his sled. Packed it up with their presents, their ribbons, their wrappings, the tags and the tinsel, the trimmings, the trappings. 3,000 feet up the side of Mount Crumpet, he rode with his load to the tip-top to dump it. Pooh-pooh to the Who's, he was grinchiously humming. They're finding out now that no Christmas is coming. They're just waking up, and know just what they'll do. Their mouths will hang open a minute or two. Then the Who's down in Whoville will all cry boo-hoo. That's a noise, grinned the Grinch, that I simply must hear. So he paused, and the Grinch put his hand to his ear. And he did hear a sound rising over the snow. It started out low, then it started to grow. But the sound wasn't sad. Why, the sound sounded merry. It couldn't be so, but it was merry, very. He stared down at Whoville. The Grinch popped his eyes. Then he shook. What he was seeing was a shocking surprise. Every Who down in Whoville, the tall and the small, was singing without any presents at all. He hadn't stopped Christmas from coming. It came, somehow or other. It came just the same. And the Grinch with his Grinch feet ice cold in the snow stood puzzling and puzzling. How could it be so? It came without ribbon, it came without tags, it came without packages, boxes or bags. And he puzzled 3 hours till his puzzler was sore. Then the Grinch thought of something he hadn't before. Maybe Christmas, he thought, doesn't come from a store. Maybe Christmas, perhaps, means a little bit more. And what happened then? Well, in Whoville they say that the Grinch's small heart grew 3 sizes that day. And the minute his heart didn't feel quite so tight, he whizzed with his load through the bright morning light, and he brought back the toys and the food and the feast, and he himself, the Grinch, carved the roast beast. The end.
Hope you enjoyed that. That was quite fun. I quite liked. You have to sort of like read it out, I feel, to like get the most out of the rhyme and the lyricalism of Dr. Seuss's work. I absolutely love that story. It's so sweet. It's a really nice. It has like this sort of like message of how like this sort of like Christmas and giving and stuff isn't like material things. It's sort of like an idea, and although it might not always seem the case, and especially like it's something that resonates true from like the 50s up until today, it's still something that's nice and you want to believe in, and it's good. There's character development despite it being really short and a children's book. And the writing's fun. It's really easy to read. It's a great book. I'll totally recommend it. And yeah, I absolutely loved it. So yeah, this is kind of my review. It's just like it's a good book. 5 stars from me. I like it. I have seen the adaptation, especially the 2001, like many times. I absolutely love that film, but I thought I would quickly do a little tier ranking of the 4 adaptations that I have seen. Got it started. So the original one is the 1966 like short TV movie one. I think this is a good adaptation of the book. It's not perfect, but it is good. I think I'm probably put it behind, yeah, like that, yep. And then this is the 2000 version. I love this film so much. I absolutely love it. I feel like it to me it is better than the book, and especially the way it deals with like the impact of like making someone feel othered, like in when he's like a child and stuff. I feel like it's like very good, done well, and sort of like about like it deals more with like showing love to people that have been like pushed aside and stuff. I don't know, it has a lot of memories, and it has a lot like a special place in my heart and my like thoughts and stuff. So I adore that film, and it is better than the book in my opinion. This is a 2008 version. I'm gonna put this in Hun Where the Source Go, and it is ahead of Alice Through the Looking Glass, just because although it does kind of stick to the book, there is quite a bit that is like, obviously it had to be fleshed out because the book is very short, and even the other two did flesh it out quite a lot. This one I just feel like it didn't do as good a job as the original. And then this is the, like, I think it was 2021, like Grinch the musical. This was so effing bad. I absolutely despise it. It was one of the worst things I've ever watched. I hated it. So yeah, that's gonna go in bye bitch, bye, no thank you, get away from me. Hope you enjoyed today's video. I will see you very soon. Bye bye.